You know, I never thought I'd be the guy telling a story like this, but here we are. Me, Alex Rivera, floating in my own damn pool one scorching afternoon in Willow Ridge Estates, thinking I'd finally nailed that big library project downtown when suddenly this voice cuts through the air like a chainsaw. Get out of there right now, you filthy intruder. This is private property. And there she was, Victoria Langford, the queen bee of our HOA, standing on my patio in her starched sundress and oversized hat, pointing at me like I'd just robbed the place. Her face twisted in this mix of rage and righteousness that made my blood boil before I even processed what was happening. It all started innocently enough. Or so I thought. I'd busted my ass for years as an architect, blending sleek lines with natural vibes and designs that turned heads, from high-rises that kissed the clouds to cozy spots that felt like they grew right out of the ground. This house in Willow Ridge, my dream pad of glass walls and warm wood with that infinity pool spilling into the horizon, was my reward. My escape from the grind, paid for with sweat and sketches late into the night. But in this ritzy enclave of manicured lawns and old money vibes, I stuck out like a sore thumb. A Mexican-American guy who earned his spot, not inherited it. And Victoria, oh man, she saw me as the glitch in her perfect matrix. She'd married into wealth, clung to it like a life raft, and turned the HOA into her personal fiefdom, offering rules about hedge heights and paint shades to mask her own insecurities, whispering about maintaining standards, while eyeing anyone who didn't fit her cookie-cutter mold. At first, it was petty stuff, letters about my eco-friendly gravel driveway being too rustic, or my solar lights clashing with the approved palette. Each one a little jab that I brushed off, paying the fines just to keep the peace, figuring it was bored suburbia nonsense. But deep down, I knew it was more. I'd catch her glaring from her sunroom, binoculars in hand, like some neighborhood spy. And once, when I was grabbing my mail, she rolled by in her golf cart, sniffed, and said, "The grounds crew should know better than to loiter." Standards, you understand? It hit me then. She didn't see the architect, the homeowner. She saw the help, the brown guy who must be mowing lawns, not owning them. That stung, made me question if the sanctuary I'd built was worth the quiet slights, the way joggers hesitated mid-wave. But I pushed it aside, focused on my work, until that pool day exploded everything. The confrontation was straight out of a bad movie. I'm there, eyes closed, water lapping, celebrating my library win after months of revisions and red tape, when her screech yanks me back. I tread water, squint against the sun, and she's advancing, phone in hand, yelling, "Security. Yeah, there's a trespasser here at 14, Willow Ridge Lane. Hispanic, looks like day labor, swimming in the owner's pool, refusing to leave." My heart pounded, confusion turning to fury as I climbed out, dripping, and faced her. "This is my house," I said, voice steady despite the rage bubbling up. "I own it. Get off my property." She laughed, that sharp, dismissive bark. "Oh, please, don't lie to me. I know the real buyers were that nice family from Boston, not you." The implication hung there, poison in the air. And then, get this, she pockets her phone, smirks, and says, "Fine. Forget security. When you're done splashing around, mow my lawn. It's overgrown, and I'll toss you $20. It was surreal, dehumanizing, like I'd been slapped with every stereotype she'd bottled up, her back turning as if I'd already bowed to her command. I stood there, water pooling at my feet, the sun mocking me, feeling exposed, violated in my own haven. And that's when the fire ignited, not just anger, but a cold resolve. She wasn't just a nosy neighbor. She was a bully, wielding prejudice like a weapon, rooted in her fear of anything different, threatening her fragile empire of conformity. But I wasn't about to roll over. No way. I'd built skylines, damn it. I could dismantle hers. That's where Dr. Elias Thorne came in, my elderly neighbor, a retired history prof with wild hair and a bungalow the HOA kept trying to update out of existence. We bonded over iced tea one afternoon, chatting brutalism and Frank Lloyd Wright, when he leaned in, grave, and warned, Victoria's not just petty. She's terrified of what you represent, success without her stamp of approval. She's weaponized the rules before, but you're a direct hit to her ego. He suggested digging deeper, literally, into the land's history. And man, what we uncovered flipped the script. We spent days in dusty county archives, poring over faded maps and deeds until, bam, a 1838 Mexican land grant for Hacienda del Sol Dorado, 600 acres right where Willow Ridge now sprawls, awarded to my great-great-grandparents for their territorial service. My mom sighed, stories I'd half forgotten from family lore, tied directly to this soil. And then the ugly part, the 1880s sale, forced by shady legal maneuvers and settler pressure, land stolen for peanuts in the name of progress. It hit like a gut punch. I wasn't the outsider, she was, perched on ground my ancestors had nurtured. Her HOA tyranny echoed that old dispossession. Meanwhile, she ramped up her game, spreading whispers at her coffee clutches about my shady business traffic, lowering values, turning neighbors into silent accomplices. Folks who'd waved now crossed streets, a black SUV lurking outside, snapping pics. The isolation gnawed at me like a slow poison. One night, staring into the dark pool, doubt crept in. Why fight for a place that hated me? Sell. Start fresh. But then I thought of my late wife, Maria, who dreamed this house with me, urging, build our truth, Alex. Don't let them dim it. Her memory steeled me. This wasn't just about me. It was about breaking the cycle, reclaiming what was rightfully connected to my blood. So, we built our case like a fortress, genealogy reports linking me straight to that grant, legal opinions calling the old sale coercion, a sleek presentation mapping it all over modern Willow Ridge. The showdown came at her emergency HOA meeting in the clubhouse, packed with tense faces. Her at the podium, railing about upholding harmony, and slapping me with bogus fines totaling 15 grand, her voice dripping venom as she coded her bigotry in talk of disruptive elements. But I stood, invoked their own rules for a chance to speak, and unloaded, slides flashing the grant, my family's name bold, the map overlay making gasps ripple. This land was Hacienda del Sol Dorado, granted to my ancestors. They were forced out by the same tactics you're using now, Victoria, intimidation masked as law. I locked eyes with her, calm but cutting. You're not protecting tradition. You're repeating its sins. I'm not the intruder. I'm the heir, coming home. The room froze, her face draining white as Elias started clapping, slow at first, then the wave built, neighbors shifting from hostility to shame. Her empire crumbling as she bolted out, defeated. Board members quit. Elias stepped in as interim chair, fines vanished with apologies. And one by one, folks knocked. Awkward regrets, piecemeal admissions of cowardice for buying her lies out of fear for their precious property values. In the end, as I floated in that pool again, sun-warm, hearing kids laugh and real waves from passers-by, it felt like victory. Not just mine, but a crack in the facade, forcing Willow Ridge to face its roots, built on erasure, yet capable of change. But here's the thing that still nags, was it justice, or just a band-aid on deeper divides? Could she ever really learn, or was her hate too ingrained, waiting to resurface? And what about communities like this everywhere? Do they need a history bomb to wake up, or is ignorance the real fortress? I'd love to hear your take. Drop a comment below. Have you faced something similar? Is redemption possible for folks like Victoria, or should we just build our own havens? Hit like if this hit home. Subscribe for more real talk stories, and share if it sparks something in you. Let's keep the conversation going.